microphone, which is for a podcast, because I'm going to back that up with the podcast audio and see how we go there. Now, I have to look at my home timeline for comments, because one thing that I understand is as people comment of your live video, that it'll only show up on your newsfeed, your personal newsfeed that it's on.
And now I'm looking at you, but it's only you talking. It's not my side of the Blabcast.
No. I would actually have to face the phone
to
the Blabcast to see it. Now, I have the phone over the audio. That's why I don't have the earbuds in today. The audio of the computer is feeding the audio of the Facebook and, of course, our dialogue on Blab. And, so I'm probably stretching the bandwidth of my home quite sufficiently today in the attempt to do live video casts. And see, I want to do Periscope too, because I have the other laptop. I was thinking about doing Periscope.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just why not make it even more challenging by trying to answer too many things. You know what? I wish that they had not still shotted on my big roundy face. Okay. You know what was funny? The video that I posted last night has 380 views.
Yeah.
And
I noticed there were like 75 when I saw it last night.
It's like that. It's remarkable, the feed of this. Okay, so we should get started because we actually have some amazing news topics today that we want to talk about. And I have very little tech except for a late arrival that I want to throw in, other than the one topic that I had. But let's do this official. Like I started the recording a couple of moments ago. Hi, everyone. Welcome to This Week in Hospitality Digital Marketing. I am your host, one of Lauren Gray. My co-host, ever present, is Mr. Robert Cole from Rock Cheetah. Hi, Mr. Robert.
Hello, Mr. Lauren.
If you have not caught the uniqueness of what we're talking about today, Facebook Live is now an active tool. Now, Mr. Cole thinks I have to be famously popular to actually have it on my phone, but from what I understand from the feed that I got the how-to instructions from, it had just now been distributed to everybody that has an iPhone. It's yet to be on Android, so Mr. Robert Cole is yet to lavish himself into the live Facebook world.
So you have to be a celebrity on Android to get it.
Yeah, well, maybe you still have to be a celebrity on Android for that. Now, we have currently 8 or 10 viewers on Facebook Live. Hi, everybody. My apologies for those who personally know me that are following this. This is actually a industry Blabcast for Blab, which is a lot like Periscope and Meerkat, that we do every week. Myself and Robert Cole, who you don't get to see on the video that you have, is actually on my computer screen. If you'd like to watch us on Blab, we have a weekly that we do at 12:30 Central each week, and that is This Week in Hospitality Digital Marketing, which we're doing right now and recording it, that you can go join. And if you have a Twitter account, which is what's necessary to join Blab, you can join our conversation. It's like the Brady Bunch. There's 4 screens of people that can be on at one time, or 4 chairs. There's the host, myself, that started it, Robert second, and then we have a third and a fourth. So if you ever want to join in on these conversations, you simply have to go over and we hashtag it, hashtag HSMAI, because this is in support of Hospitality Sales and Marketing Association. And it's also hashtag hospitality, hashtag digital marketing. So those are ways to find us on Blab, in addition to the categories of business, social media, and marketing, if you look at categories as well. And you'll see what I mean if you go to the website. But enough of that as to why you're seeing it in dualities here and why I seem to be talking off screen. Also, I'm multitasking by recording it for our podcast, which we do weekly as well. Just tons of content. But with that, okay, so I throw out a general agenda listing of stuff. We keep our conversations into 3 categories. We start out with new tools that can be useful in digital marketing for hospitality. Then we have a news section, which Robert is the main perfunctor of, because he always brings the really good stuff to the newscasting of that. And then we have techniques of usability afterwards, which I've gotten slightly esoteric in the last week. I'm talking about more about methodologies than it is actual tool usages. Last week, we focused in on agencies and how to bring them up to speed that you're an efficient user. But this week is going to be something similar. But we're going to really focus on the news stuff today. Mr. Cole, I sent over one tool that I thought was of interest, which was the use of Facebook local awareness. Now, are you aware of Facebook local awareness?
Why don't you cover it for us, Lauren?
Why, thank you, Mr. Cole. I sincerely appreciate that vote of confidence for us.
You can creep us out right now.
I know. Just creep us out right now. Okay, local awareness is creepy. It's an addition to your Facebook page functionality that if it has stats, and that's the key element to it, if it has stats, then it'll go over and tell you whom was within the actual proximity of your business because of your address. Let's see. I have a few people. Oh, I have my sister-in-law. Hi, Yvonne. Sorry. That's the Facebook Live I'm chatting with over there. Okay. So anyway, with the Facebook local awareness, it's a usable tool for marketing now. This is going to be more to the restaurateurs or the brick and mortar hospitality businesses. Hotels, yes, if you're looking for walk-in traffic, that's really literally walk-in traffic, but unlikely as a real function tool unless you're event-driven. I can imagine that if you're a hotel within nearby a concert venue or sporting venue, and you didn't get your fair share of the demand for it in particular, or you still have inventory to sell, then I can see where you might want to focus in on the local awareness targeting that this provides. Let me put the link into the chat list.
I would think airport hotels, certainly, flight delays, weather, things like that. Big opportunities for.
Yes, to that I would also agree that if you wanted to, but again, it's the proximity radius is based on your address, so you would have to be a genuine airport hotel,
right?
Not so much a hotel that's near an airport that you get airport transient business from. Here I'm putting the link in of a article that was done by an excellent podcaster, which I highly recommend following, is Social Media Examiner. They did nice coverage of this and basic functionality, how-to tools of how to do this. Hey, Yvonne, saying hi to people over there still. Okay, and I'll keep having the disclaimer. For those who are watching me live on my personal page on Facebook, this is an attempt at doing Facebook Live video in association with what I do weekly, which is a broadcast called This Week in Hospitality Digital Marketing. So that's where you're going to see the dialogue on this. It's actually being shared on a couple of other pages. Mr. Robert Cole, who you don't get to see in the picture, who's sharing Blab Time with me. It's on his page. Robert Cole, and also on Hospitality Digital Marketing Facebook page as well. So anyway, back to topic. I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's because it would take a lot longer to explain how to use it than it is to know that it's there. For those with the link following it who may join us, Phil Austin subscribed, but he hasn't joined us. Then you can go see a little bit more of the functionalities of how to read the reports and how to use that information to develop an ad campaign. So we'll leave the tool section to that. I only want to throw in a kicker for a second one, which just came up, and it blows me away that it's now available to marketing agencies and soon to be rolling out to general users, and that is Pinterest has now decided that you can create custom audiences. You can take your data feed up, just like Facebook, just like Google, and now create a custom audience to do enhanced interest targeting. Now, Pinterest is like cotton candy to certain segments within the hospitality industry, primarily weddings, foodies, adventurous travel off the beaten path. People love
honeymoons.
Yeah.
Honeymoons.
Yes. Yep. And so you can target those geographically, interest-wise, categorically, and of course, images say 1,000 words, hence this video and all the fun stuff that we do with it. So it creates a huge opportunity to take your database, just like you've done with Facebook, just like you've done with Google, and place it in Pinterest so that you can now finite those. Now, obviously, the next consideration, I guess, Robert, is what? Lookalike audiences, just like both of what they're being done now, is
absolutely
expanded into.
I mean, there are monetization strategies that have been proven out, particularly by Facebook, who went from literally zero mobile traffic to now, dominating the sector,
yep.
and how they monetized it. I mean, it's just very, very straightforward. And you start, saying, well, that worked for Facebook. Let's do the same granularity, same tools, and again, it works well.
Yep. We'll probably bring this back to our Blabcast in a couple of weeks ahead. I have to play with it a little bit and maybe do some ad campaigns with a couple of clients and so forth to see how well we can create an efficiency for it. And whether the actual results are there, if you can target, you're using the target tools. So those are the two topics of tools today. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to get to the fun stuff. Mr. Robert Cole has brought in not one, not two, but 3 categories. And I found not a better link, a different link for your Google topic. So I'm going to put the link in for your digital agency, what it should be, and you take away the conversation, Mr. Cole.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things we were looking at was Snapchat, very popular platform. And actually, Lauren, I'm getting some echo back from your phone or something on that side. Not anymore.
Might be the mic over here. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's okay. So actually, I can put in. I'm not sure if Oh, you have the link for that. But there was an interesting thing. There was a fellow undercover marketer who had 5 reasons marketers should avoid Snapchat, and not to beat on Snapchat. I'll be the first one to say my daughters and my wife love it. I think it's the stupidest thing ever, but I understand its marketing value. For me, if you have something that is going to disappear, why did you show it to me? It's gone. Or if it's something that's really good, I want to keep it, right? So Snapchat inherently doesn't make sense to me, but I'm an old guy. So anyway, but I do understand its appeal to a lot of other folks, and that's why I want to bring it up. But the interesting part was Snapchat hasn't done some of the monetization things and some of the utility things that have made it very effective for marketers that Facebook and, as Lauren was just saying, Pinterest have done. So there are 5 things that they pointed out here, and actually I'll put the link. There's a little video. Oops, let me get it into our tray here.
Rob's video string.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah. Oh, you did the string off of the first one. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So what they have were basically 5 points. Was the marketing messages disappear, which is kind of a problem because right now the length of time is only 10 seconds. So that's great to get people's attention, and people are certainly completely attention deficit. But if it's a marketing message, wait a second, I like that. All of a sudden, wait, hey, what was the point? What was the call to action? Was I supposed to call somebody? Was I supposed to click somewhere? It's gone. That's a problem for Snapchat. A second one is there aren't any outgoing links, sort of thing. So again, even if you had the time, there's nothing to really click on. It is a little tricky to get followers. Again, Lauren, was talking about these defined groups on Pinterest, that sort of thing. So you can start cultivating particular groups of people. You can start looking at lookalike audiences the way you do on Facebook. You can't do that on Snapchat. Has a short video duration. They say it's small value. I'm a little torn on that. If it's good, relevant content, I think you can get by with something that's a good, impactful, 10 seconds, something like that. I mean, certainly Vines, that sort of thing, are very, very impactful. And I think, groups like Mountain Dew and things like that are doing some very interesting things on Snapchat. And then the probably the worst aspect is the analytics disappear after 24 hours. So you only really have analytics information for a day and not being able to track it over time. So I think once Snapchat starts doing that a little bit more effectively, then it's going to be a good tool for hoteliers and for travel marketers. But until then, it's a little bit of a novelty. Some of the particular big brands are doing some interesting things with it, experimenting. The Red Bulls and the Mountain Dews, guys like that. I think who are always on the cutting edge are doing some cool stuff. But for mainstream, maybe a little early.
Well, I definitely agree for mainstream. Definitely. I mean, even Twitter has its challenges for mainstream usages because of the commitment necessary and the consistency necessary to use Twitter as a platform. I think with anything, our bane of new platform integration is as marketers, it's created an audience. It has a user base, and its user base is not based on the idea of what we can use as conveying messages. So what we do is when we get access to it, because eventually all these platforms have to monetize. They love to be the free spirit and so forth, and they love to give venture capital, but eventually somebody demands to get their money back, and they have to find a way to make money. And so no different with Snapchat is they have to find a way of monetizing. So they're saying, hey, we're allowing businesses to now, as a business entity, to come on the platform. But we as marketers have the bane of trying to translate what we use as method in other platforms onto this platform, when in fact it's a completely different means of communication, and it needs to be seen in that new means of communication as to, this is like a little grenade. This isn't a conversation that you have. This isn't a vanguard of effort. This is I have something eminent, something timely, and something actionable. Now, boom, gone. And it needs to be used in that effectiveness. I mean, again, it's another tool in the toolkit, and I completely agree with you. It's way early into the market, the mainstream, if anything, just in market in general, to know how to effectively use this. The key element to remember is, and this is where I took not offense to the article, but to the opposite of, he was trying to translate it into methodologies that exist before. That it has to be looked at new. What can I do with this audience? this is how they communicate. So how can I use this this channel of communication to get to this audience and to validate that this is an audience I want to keep in communication with? And so you have to find how you can craft that message into the technique of the platform. And I think that's what time has to spend. That's what that's what's going to have to take us some time. So anyway,
Right.
and
it is very, very powerful. It's the same as, people who don't get selfies and that sort of thing. Oh my God, that's just so stupid. It's so narcissistic. And it's like, great, maybe that's not something that you want to do, but boy, this is a huge phenomenon, and it's something that's very, very important for marketers to understand if they're dealing with an audience that's how they communicate, and that's kind of the key. Well, unfortunately for advertising, a lot of marketing is kind of in social media. It's hanging around in the areas in a relevant way for way people are communicating and to become part of the fabric of their life. Well, and so you want to do that without being creepy, but again, without some of these tools, it starts getting tricky. Like in a Snapchat, how to do that. And I think folks who don't know how to do it, the word of caution is, be careful, because you'll get in there and all of a sudden you're going to be the story on Mashable or TechCrunch of being the really guys who did something really stupid, and you don't want that. It's not true. All promotion is not good promotion.
Right.
Sort of thing.
Right. Well, also too, we had a conversation just after the HSMAI conference. One of the Platinum Award winners with Hebs Digital, Max Sarkoff and his team, was the use of taking one of their downtown New York hotels and creating a selfie package where they actually gave a selfie stick and places to go to with the selfie stick, so they got the best pictures and the best experience for being at the hotel's location. And I think that's a message to say, rather than harumph and cross your arms and say that's just kid stuff, or that's not into the demographics of the people that I'm interested in. How do you know? How do you know what that demographic is until you experience or try it and use it platforms that they're familiar with or things that they're interested in? You really don't know if you're going to be good at it or not. Right. So yes,
and think of it. Think of it. That was targeting predominantly European international travelers coming to New York, young demographic. Think of the customer lifetime value. This is, for many of these individuals, the first time traveling ever to New York, the first place they're staying. If you can give them a good experience, and yes, for Hotel Pennsylvania, it's not a 5-star property. It's a large place, pretty good central location, but that's fine. You get a lot of people, they tell their friends, and all of a sudden you've got something that you can really build on, and hopefully nurture those relationships over an extended period of time. It's brilliant.
And that goes to the point that we both have made about that, is that you're talking about a new breed of communication. If you're talking to a 55 and up, they have certain traditional ways that they communicate. Not that they're not adopting a technology, and not that they don't use technologies like Facebooks and so forth, but it really has to reach into their genre of acceptance for them to also adopt it. So it took a while. 55 and up was the latest category, but it's also been the most growth intensive category for Facebook in recent months, because the adoption rate of people that have finally said, this is a part of mainstream life, and my grandkids or my kids are on this, and this is a way of communication. And then when they get on, it turns into this self-supported model. This is just other things saying, look, we're going to get on these platforms that these demographics are on, and see if we can communicate with them in a way that endears their relationship with us, so that they're out for the experience. And if we can keep providing that experience value, they're going to keep in communication with us. But we have to be in the places they communicate in. So,
right. And what was brilliant about the selfie promotion was they helped people not just to go do a selfie and have it very superficial, going, oh, we're doing selfie stuff. It was, here's where you go to get great pictures. So they actually would wind up taking selfies that were like, oh, this is the right angle to get the Empire State Building in the back. I need to be standing on this, on this street, not in the middle of the intersection, so I'm not going to get killed, with this thing and that sort of thing. Go, oh, and you got a great picture like this, and you go, well, that's great. That really helps the people not waste a lot of time, get the picture they want, not be frustrated, and move on to the next thing. So, really, really solid, smart campaign.
I have to say hi to some people that joined on the Facebook Live. Ted, dear friend, sorry that what I'm doing is I'm doing a Facebook Live broadcast of what I do for business, which is a Blabcast on blab.im, which is a live group conversation. This is for hospitality digital marketing. It first starts on my personal page, which is probably where you found it. And then it goes over to the hospitality digital marketing page, which is the business side of it. And it's another platform of discussion that Robert Cole, who you don't get to see in this picture, who has joined me on the Blabcast and also on the podcast. We talk about weekly things that are happening in digital marketing for hospitality. This is a way of, it's like a radio show in that sense, hence the microphone and a video you can't see. So anyway,
so can they hear me but
they
not
hear you.
see me?
They hear you.
Oh, they can.
They
hear
just can't see
me.
that handsome, rugged face with the headphones on. And that's
never heard that face described quite like that.
I have noticed I go in and out of weak contact for it. I guess probably because I'm pushing the bandwidth of my home coverage. Okay, the next news feature, and for those who are listening or joined with us, is that we cover tools, we covered news, and we cover techniques that are relevant for this week in hospitality, all related to digital marketing. And we had a much larger portion of news today than we normally have in comparison to the tools and techniques. So we actually have a couple of news topics. And the next one is downright damn them, but they're very good at it, and that is Google. And our friend, Mr. Rob Torres from HSMAI, who's also on the board of Americas for HSMAI, Hospitality Sales and Marketing Association, was that to me is a bucket list thing. You get to launch a new product on Wall Street. I mean, come on. That is just one of those things.
Live on CNBC from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Did you put in the link for them? Yeah, you did. Okay.
Actually, I put in the link for the. I'll grab the link with Rob's video here in a second.
And I'm putting in a link from Skift, which is.
Oh, okay. I put in the link from the official Google blog, which describes.
Okay. So whoever plays the Blabcast back has got a ton of links to show you how the evil empire. We're just going to go to the Death Star or the Star Killer.
No.
Oh yes. These people.
I'm a Google fan. I have an Android phone. I use Gmail on my thing.
I'm a Google fan, and I have all the Google stuff. I'm going to read a quote. This is. I'm pulling up the other computer again. I'm pulling up a quote that Banu Agarwal from Milestone Media, who attended SMX in San Jose this past week, took as a snapshot of what Google's presentation was about their destination marketing and their market to the moment conversation. And they made this statement: the future of search, an ultimate mobile assistant that helps you with your daily life so you can focus on the things that matter. They were talking about the semantic search, the audio engagement. Now here Google rolls out their destination marketing. Oh, my live video, I think I hit my 30 minutes. Yeah, it did. Oh. But that's okay because we got 30 minutes of that in. So we'll keep with the Blabcast because people can come to this anyway. Your live video, 60 people watched it. I'll be darned.
Wow.
We didn't have anybody here currently on Blab. Well, we had a couple in and out. We've had 4 or 5 come in and out on our Blabcast currently, but we had 60 people watch me on Facebook Live.
The network is the key.
Well, you're the one. You're the one that pointed out the whole improvement.
If we're talking travel distribution, right? This is and that'll be our next topic: the OTAs versus the brands. But it's all about that network sort of thing. And where is all this traffic? They're out on these OTAs and that sort of thing. Where are they? They're on Google. If that's where the people are, all of a sudden, instead of the information superhighway, it's the information toll road.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the one thing about it too is that the video, I mean, Robert, you know this. I mean, we just went off the Google topic, but we'll come back to it. I know. I did a test of the Facebook Live last night, and a lesson learned. If you're going to do any sort of videography, audio, whatever, 2 things. 1, dress for the occasion, because hair was going this way, T-shirt, sitting working all day on the desk kind of thing. And I had nothing to say other than I was just testing how to make sure I could connect it to our Blabcast today. And of course, now it's up to 300 and some odd people have viewed the video of me talking about how, unfortunately, my dog Edison got bit by a dog the other day, and I got little holes in my arm and this kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, that was a waste of live video space. And people going, Lauren, I haven't seen you forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have just done something better and well dressed. But anyway, so Google, in their infiniteness of this, and this goes back to the race. I mean, Facebook is definitely making a play against YouTube. They want to be, because this is their content that's on their platform. I just did it on Facebook. I'm on rented land. If they want to do something with that video, use it, promote it, push it, have it show up with more of my friends, it's theirs to do.
You could do it. You can stream live on YouTube, which is fine, but you don't have the follower network who's built in
Right.
and tapped in and authenticated that Facebook has.
You have to build it
Same
for
thing.
that particular video. But here's a scary part to this, and I know we're way off topic on the Google News portion of it.
That's okay.
The post that I did last night, I didn't think about this, and Renee was mad at me for bolting up going, oh my God, I had an epiphany. I now can promote that.
Right.
So just if just on an agency side thing, I want to get in front of certain people that are the decision makers in certain companies to show what I can or can't do as a consultant. Okay, my shopping list of services or whatever it is, I can create a live video that is basically making me a commercial. Hi guys, I'm such and such, do such and such, and literally then target it so that they would show up in their ad side that said, wow, hospitality digital marketing, Lauren Gray, consultant for such and such. Boom. And and it just, now think about that from a hotelier's point of view. Your food services, your environment in your bar, live at happy hour Friday, boom, boom, boom.
Absolutely.
Anyway, all right, let's go back to the Google thing because it is scary stuff.
And that's the thing. And it's not just here's a text. It started with a text link, right? That was it. It was just like a little link that you click on. What's that? You go through. This is clickbait, right? I don't know. Then it kind of went, oh, well, here's a graphic, and you can still click on that and you go through. But now all of a sudden you see a face, right? And you go through, and especially when you start looking at the top stories now over in the right rail on Facebook, you hover over that and the thing, pops up, and then all of a sudden you see this. All of a sudden you have this kind of easily accessed, and here's a face. Oh, I can hear what the person what they sound like.
And it auto starts. It auto starts. And no audio.
It auto starts. Oh yeah.
So if I wanted to say it correctly, I could do my whole intro correctly and make my own little commercial correctly and then put it up there. Besides from just recording a video, I could go over and say, webinars, we're going to have a whole new technique to this now. Instead of saying, please come join my webinar, which I did one last night. I probably did it faster. I should have. It was fun. It was Facebook stuff. But, I mean, that has to be, you have to solicit an audience. You have to get them signed up. You have to remind them. They join this and this. And here it's like, okay, I'm going to go live. You can pre-promote it. But then again, boom, when it goes live, you get this natural audience of people that see it live. Facebook is, as you pointed out earlier, pushing the bejeebers out of this when it comes to, it's their new toy, so they feature it more. I'm sure it made it into more news feeds of people that follow me or are friends of mine than a normal sharing that I would have had, because they want this product to become mainstream for people. So anyway,
it's
Google,
very interesting.
Google, the evil empire.
Google,
the evil frenemy.
Announced destinations, and I have to stress, Google now has their A-team guys looking at travel. There's a fellow, Oliver Heckman, who's their VP of travel from the product side. Rob is the managing director of travel from kind of the distribution advertising side of the business, but the product side of putting together technologies, really, this guy Oliver Heckman, who is kind of the father of YouTube monetization. And he's the guy who figured out, I mentioned it a couple Blabcasts ago, the guy who kind of figured out, hey, he not only wrote the algorithms for identifying the video and the audio content that belongs to somebody else, but then kind of talk about an epiphany saying, wait, instead of blocking this, people want to see it. How do we monetize that so the record companies or the film studios can earn revenue off of people watching their videos? And now that revenue stream for many of these record labels is larger than what they're getting from selling CDs or what they're getting from streaming on Spotify. It's huge. So
you want to try something here? I have it queued up on my other laptop. The audio will come through. I'm thinking in the future, what I think I'm going to try? I'm going to try to have my other computer log in as Hospitality Digital Marketing because I have a Blabcast account with it that I've just never transitioned over to. And I'm wondering whether or not if I could screen share it rather than have the camera screen share it.
I think you can. I've seen. You may be able to do that, and I saw.
We'll play with it.
I saw one where somebody had a YouTube video that was doing that in a seat.
Yeah,
right. They were showing that. So yeah, that's.
But I can at least do the audio. I know it's 4.5 minutes the video. We don't have to do the whole thing, but Rob does a very good job at the very beginning surmising what this does. So we'll play the audio because it'll play on everything right now. So let's see if it comes through here.
Okay.
Hotels and flight information.
No. Can't really just sort of hear it. Sounds like you're playing it on another device.
So I put in, for example, European destinations or Ohio destinations. And then what happens? What do I actually find?
A little bit.
On the Google?
You know what? We can just describe. I can just go through the blog post.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. Well, technical attempt number 1 for audio transition did not work well. Note to self.
Yeah. So now what they're doing though, because they have this kind of a development team. What they're doing is it's called Google Destinations, and there's a link in the feed for the blog post. And basically, if you go and put something in like France vacations or whatever it may be, you'll suddenly get a card, and it's only on mobile right at this point. Or you could put Europe destinations, and this is very different from an online travel agency and kind of traditional travel search, which was always focused very much on the booking process. Give me your dates, give me your destination, and then we'll bring back pricing. This, you just put in Europe destinations or something very innocuous like that, and all of a sudden you're going to get some options, and they're starting out right now with 2 kind of the top 2 destinations. You might get Paris and London, and then you can look at it, and right on that screen they have some assumptive dates. So they'll say, oh, it's from April 10th to 17th or whatever. They've figured out an algorithm of when most people are looking, today, what dates they would be searching for. They have that kind of information. And all of a sudden there's even a little airplane icon with the round trip fare, as well as a little bed icon with a hotel price on it, with the average hotel price. And you go, oh my goodness. So you can drill down into this, and it's fairly rudimentary at this point, but they start giving you the ability to really kind of tap into inspiration. Like, where should I go? What should I? Oh, there's Barcelona, right? You can start looking at different places, new places to go. Very, very interesting, and put in other features of what you'd like to do in terms of activities. If you'd like to, I think in the blog post they did Spain surfing, New Zealand hiking, Colorado skiing. You put in Colorado skiing, you're probably going to get Aspen and Vail, and that sort of thing popping up. So very, very interesting. Also, if you have flexible dates, it shows you all the different prices and how they go up and down for these particular dates. And you can say you've got 2 people traveling and you want to go for 7 days or 10 days or whatever the case may be. And it'll show you a string and go, oh, wow, prices really drop in June, or they take off in June, depending on the destination. Very, very fast, no lag time, just the information is there. And as you said, what Anil had reported, that yes, Google wants to provide people with instant information, be able to get to exactly what they're looking for, understand all the different options, and then get on with their lives, sort of thing. So very, very powerful. But things like weather are tied into there, the trip price, and eventually tying into the whole. And what I thought was the most amazing thing is they have suggested itineraries. So they had one that started in Nice and went up to Paris, and it was like a 7-day trip. Yeah. And you kind of go, wow, that's really powerful. And I believe they're curating those from people who've made those sorts of trips. I don't think that's really an algorithmic sort of thing that they're pulling up, but they have some individuals looking through that going, that's an interesting little trip that people may like. Now, that isn't completely bookable online where you go click, I'll do that. But again, they'll let you say, I want different styles of hotels and price range.
Keeping in context of what you're saying, it's inspirational. It's at the top of the funnel. It's the discovery phase of the idea associated with it. It's not like I click and I can book all this, although albeit that I'm sure it's going to advance to that if aspirationally that sounds like a great idea, Google will have a little bit behind it and actually have it already put together as it gets to know you better. But the idea of it, I mean, the swiping of it to say, maybe not this month, but next month, if the price is different, I mean, you have that ability to look at it. That whole engagement level, I mean, golly, I mean, before we even get to the process of being a thought or consideration, Google has turned into that trusted hospitality related an entity that people say, wow, it hasn't steered me wrong yet. And now it's telling me where there's suggested places to stay based on all this other information of price and destination distances and everything else.
It's not just the hotel prices. It's the airfare round trip, which certainly drives a big portion of that. And if you look at it and go, oh, well, I want to go someplace during spring break or something, all of a sudden, yes, the prices skyrocket from your origin market. Now, again, they haven't gotten super sophisticated on it to start saying, oh, well, if you fly out of Chicago instead of Milwaukee, like where I live, maybe you save money because it's not spring break in Chicago, right? There are all sorts of little tricks and tools to go do that. They haven't gotten that level, but the bookability is there because they have Google Flights. It's right there with some pricing. They have Google, the hotel ads. You can go do that. And again, both those products maybe not quite as slick as a lot of the OTA stuff, but rich information and most importantly, really fast. And that's where Google's really, really pushing is this stuff. You don't have to click on links. I mean, and look at the experience. What did you do before? If you wrote in Europe destinations, you get a page, of 10 blue links. And you go, okay, now what? Where am I? Whoever did SEO best on those keywords, I'd kind of wind up at their website and then muck my way through. Or here's some ads. I can go click on people who paid for this. Those aren't great experiences, but just having the answers right there immediately, watch out.
Yeah. No,
it's a bold new world that highway just got a toll gate.
And I'm thinking too now that the OTAs must be the most concerned or worried about, especially when you listen to the entire video that Rob did about, are you thinking about acquiring Expedia? And he's like, well, never say never, because
they have no interest in that.
No, they have no interest. They just want to compress it down. Now, OTAs are a monetization model for them. And we both had the discussions before that ability for Google to be the first in line and handle the transaction with Google Pay and handle the conversation with Google Now and have this incentive offers now with planning the destination aspirational component of it, then they can make money more from that than they can by having OTAs pay to be in front of the line. Then the OTAs disappear. And that's why OTAs, I think, have the biggest worry because at least with the hotels, as commoditized as they will be, there's still the commodity. OTAs have no brick and mortar value to them. They've been intermediaries since the very beginning, and their call to claim to fame was their ability to put your product in front of other people aspirationally. Well, here Google does it because it's their show, it's their tool, it's their toy, it's their sandbox.
Well, and if that's also going at the OTAs, it also goes after the hotel groups because the hotel groups don't own their hotels anymore.
And they can't soft brand them.
They hate when I say it, but they're becoming very OTA-like. They're monetizing their distribution networks. It's brand marketing, and it's not necessarily everything for the benefit of the individual hotel owner.
Right.
It's them reaping revenue streams out and they're beholden to their shareholders, which you can't blame them. Yep. That's what the business model is. And that business model is identical. It's identical to the OTAs. What's Expedia doing? They're now going to start selling slotting. Right, I can't remember the name of it.
Advance or aggressive. It begins with an A. We talked about it last week in the Blabcast. For anybody that's following this Blabcast, you can jump back to the old Blabcast. It was in the news section of it. We were talking about it. The Expedia's Advance
Accelerator or something like that. But to do that,
placement. And then
that certainly helps their monetization. It increases what hotels are going to pay. They're going to pay for placement to get higher up on the. Is that necessarily best for the consumer? I don't know. That might not be the best hotel.
We agree with that. All that
Google will keep doing that for what's the best hotel for a while, right? What's the best fit? Let's figure this stuff out and go. And TripAdvisor's a little bit more in that realm too. But again, also monetizing it, quite effectively.
I figured who I was talking with about it, but we had a great analogy to it that originally OTAs were a lot like a gas car. I mean, carburetor, standard engine, and so forth. They made their money, aka gas. It was traditional. You never had to worry about making the car go faster or better because you had plenty of gas to make it run. As things go along, they've now had to optimize their usage of this funding by putting superchargers and fuel injection, all this other stuff, because the gas has a certain amount of limit of capacity. So they got to enhance what that capacity is. So this accelerator advancement where you can pay for placement and so forth is just a yieldability of monies to be drawn in still. Well, Google is freaking Tesla because they're still making a car, but guess what? It doesn't use gas now, and it gets you there faster, better, easier, and you don't have all this gas issue. So all of a sudden, OTAs are sitting out there going, we just turned into a buggy whip because what we offer is now being offered better in front of us, and we don't have the product that we were offering behind us. We're in the middle that our claim to fame was getting people in front of the people that had product. Well, Google does that now, and they don't even give us space because in the mobile platform, we're below all the Google screen. So by the time Google's personalization, remember the statement that they showed at SMX that Banu shared, the future is search, an ultimate mobile assistant that helps you with your daily life so you can focus on things that matter. I just want to get to San Francisco. You know enough about me that I don't want to pay this much more than for a hotel. I like this airlines, and I don't like paying that much for it, but I like flying on this seat, and I like arriving at this time of day, and I like these cars to pick me up. Take me away, Google, and boom, it'll be done, and boom, it'll be handled by the payment schedule with Google, and I just have to have my phone tell me by then, in an earbud or whatever, or virtual screen, walk this way, get in this car, go to this hotel, the door will open when you show up kind of thing. So.
Right. No, exactly. And the key is that information and the relevance and the semantic relationships between that information and how it makes it relevant to the rest of the world. A great example, when I was at Sabre, I was running the hotel program, but the car person had left or gotten promoted or something like that. So I wound up running the car group for a month or two. At one of those points in time for corporate travel, one of the things was, they were doing a bunch of stuff with business travel solutions, right? And how you book cars. And I just went in there and said, why don't you just have a checkbox? I need a car. I want fries. Would you like me to supersize? Would you like fries with that? Yes. And that was it, because most of these corporations had travel policies. If you're a mid-level manager, you got a mid-sized car. If you're a senior executive, you got a full size or a premium. Very straightforward rules. And if you set it up that way, and again, that was something that the agencies could go set up and just go, does that guy need a car? Yes, boom, done. And then, they already had everything mapped.
Did you get a Yugo?
Avis, their preferred provider.
When you get did you get a Yugo when you're out there? I mean, that was your management grade. When you went out in the field, you showed up. There was your Yugo, driven by.
I always got Ferraris, Warren. I don't know. I didn't have that experience. I'm sorry.
Good catch.
No, but
catch.
But again, that was just such a simple time saving. We know, and I still say the killer travel app is. It's a honeymoon, right? You go, it's a very complex, not necessarily high stress planning process, because nobody wants to screw it up, right? They want it to be great. So lots of pressure to make sure you get it right. But if somebody says, what's a great honeymoon? What's the best honeymoon we can take? Well, it isn't going to be something that costs $80,000 a week, maybe, for a lot of people, because that could be the best from that. But what's the best value that you can afford? It's something that fits your time frame, experiences, all that stuff. That's the one where they just kind of go, what about this? That's what a great travel agent does, a traditional travel agent, right? They go, wait a second, no. You want to go to wherever. You could go to the south of France. You can get there cheap. You can do this. You can stay at a great little place, and whatever you're hitting this, a shoulder season. Don't worry about the weather. It's still great. The crowds won't be there. It's going to be amazing. And guess what? It costs less than going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, that's fantastic. And that's a value like a traditional travel agent can do if they're really good at their job. Could Google do something like that? They might have a lot of information on experiential, what people like. They've got Trust You now tapped in to do all sorts of reviews and what people like.
You also look at the fact that a lot of the reason why people use certain apps over other apps or certain websites over other websites is that they relate to the audience usage. If I have an app that's about off the beaten path, there's a really neat app called Road Tripper that once you plan a trip, it'll actually, you give a radius saying, I'm willing to go off 3, 6, 10, 15 miles off of my travel plan if something's of interest and I'm categorically interested in these things. And then it shows you a map and it shows you all the stuff, the biggest ball of twine. Well, I didn't know I was going to drive by the biggest ball of twine. And so all of a sudden you're willing to make this detour off of your travel or to include it in your travel plans. Well, Google has all that in an automated fashion now with their AI now. what estimates are, 25% compared to 15% when it first started. It's already creating algorithmic relevant strings that are not traditionally based. They're based on a lot of things artificial intelligence wise. They're creating correlations. You know, if you have that big of a brain, you have that ability to create those correlations that doesn't exist in a math formula to the naked eye.
Right. And what Google did when they were experimenting with the little carousel at the top, the knowledge graph carousel, and you put in some sort of search term, that was pretty good. That was all their semantic search up there. Now, the interface didn't work out very well for them, and they couldn't monetize it very well, which is my theory for why it changed, right? It was very good, though. You get a little list of New York hotels. If you put, cool boutique hotel or something like that, you get a list. Unfortunately, at that time in the Google hotel ads, it was awful. They gave you a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star hotel, and it was just one property in each of those. You go, wait, no. If I put cool luxury boutique hotel, you're like, why do I have 2 or 3-star properties even listed here? That's ridiculous. So yeah, this is an interesting step forward, and it's a big step forward. And I think it's the very, very beginning of this. And the other thing, though, is they don't want to kill the OTAs. They don't want to kill the hotel. They don't want to become a hotel company. They don't want to have Google Hotels. They don't want to be an online travel agency. What they want to do is provide this platform and say, hey, guys, we've got all this information. We've got this real ease of use. Advertise, get there. What do you want to do to go present yourself to be in this stream of all the stuff? And
it's typical Google fashion. They're not fully, they don't roll out a complete product that does all the things we just talked about. They're rolling out the idea of the product by doing what it does right now. It's kind of like them walking in the room and go, hey, guys, I have this key to the spaceship. What do you think? What would you do if you had a spaceship? And then they let people try it, and they're like, you know what, we should build more spaceships. And then so they then expand on the project. And I think that's where they are with this right now, is like, okay, this is a big, big place to go to. Is there enough adoption opportunity or usability opportunity for us to then make the deeper investment to expand its functionality?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it might be the cool little itinerary from Nice to Paris. They may look at that and go, oh, cool. People they didn't really do anything with it, or they couldn't monetize it very well. That may very well disappear. Yeah. And it just goes
just
away.
say they're not even.
And it may arise 5 years from now. All of a sudden, look at that. So
I'm waiting for the aliens to show up. Look, I'm one of you.
Your quote about the evil empire there. I don't know.
I'm working that has your blaze, but this is old logo. This old logo. It's not new logo.
Lauren picking up tips from the presidential candidates, making sure you appeal to various audiences.
That's right. You say nothing, commit to nothing, but act like you're for everybody's friend, and then Anyway.
Exactly. So anyway, I think it's a very interesting step, and we will we'll see where it goes. But remember, Expedia and Priceline spend 3.2 and 2.8 billion a year with Google on advertising. Google does not want to mess up that 5 billion a year revenue stream, which is still growing, rather rapidly. So they don't want to mess with that. They want to figure out how they can get the hotels more engaged and get them up to those levels as well, and the airlines. So it will be it'll be interesting.
We've had 426 people watch our live Facebook.
Wow. We got to figure out Facebook how to figure out to get both the Blab multi-windowed thing, which I think for them that will be coming in the Facebook lives. It has to.
Yeah, you think that it has.
They'll acquire Blab or whatever, right? So when the numbers right,
we're at the tail end. I had one loose end, which was techniques, and it wasn't supposed to be a strong topic. Given the fact that we had so many news topics today, we said we had 3 news topics. We only actually talked about 2. We'll have to roll over the third, which was your conversation about wanting to talk about the Book Direct campaigns that are going out there.
Yeah, that's good. That we can do that separately. That's a big
We should
topic.
Give us some time for it. And then, of course, I brought up a subject topic that we just knew we didn't have time today, and that was talking about this aggregation, not just from the brand and hotel side, but this aggregation on the agency service side of things, where it's almost, there's fewer and fewer agencies that are just service based. There's a lot of agencies, however, they're becoming platform service with a suite of things that are inclusive of CRM and booking engine and website design and consumer feedback and social interaction and ad campaign strategies. And it's very functional, but it comes with a price. And I think they'd be worthy of a topic of discussion in
Right.
the future for us.
Yeah, and the whole the software as a service approach of, hey, it's only X dollars per room.
Mhm.
Here's how the stuff is integrated. It's easy, it's cheap. And on the OTA side, you have groups like Booking.com with their booking suite doing exactly that. You're like, well, wait a second.
Yep.
So what's that? So there's very interesting things happening on that. Next week we can talk about another one, Expedia, going and allowing the hotels to communicate directly with their guests through their platform. Another huge thing. So lots of stuff going on.
They don't give you the data, but they'll allow you to use their interface to get to them. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, because they know perfectly well what the hotels will do. If they get the data, they will go right around them and not include them and try to say, don't book with us direct and do not, don't use them, which is exactly what the problem was with traditional travel agencies with hotels not trusting each other and providing information and saying, hey, here's all the information on the list too, because they knew one would try to go around the other to keep that customer, solely for their own purposes.
Yep.
So.
Just the topic for technique that we'll get to in another conversation because we don't have enough time to really delve into it today. I wanted to talk about the cost of SEO and kind of on this agency expose thing, but also the actual value associated with SEO. Just as to touch the topic quickly, it's the lead vanguard conversation that most agencies have, and they also lead it with the fact that only they can provide that service that you can't provide yourself. And I consider that to be a misnomer. That's not true. You actually can do some very good things for yourself that don't require an agency or a third-party entity by just being aware of where and what they are and what value they represent, and make a short list of those. Now, there are things that you obviously want a skilled, professional, knowledgeable, well-dedicated SEO person to do, but that's after you should do a lot of the heavy lifting yourself if you have the availability to do that. And availability not just in resources, but actual availability to your website or to your citation work or places like that. And that's a criteria basis to whether you have access to these. But to give some relevance, the SEO is about the value proposition of your voice in comparison to the content that you should be showing up for. And you're competing with other people wanting that same voice associated with being an airport hotel, a downtown destination hotel, event location destination, whatever. And the value is going from position, say, 10 to position 5 for a particular keyword. There's an actual monetization model you can create that says it's going to take you this much effort for content development, tagging, things that you do on your website to make sure
backlinks, you name it.
That will bring you up. There's a certain amount of hours necessary to develop that, and that cost will translate to this percentage voice. And if that's the case, that percentage voice should translate based on your conversion of your website to X number of dollars. There's an actual mathematical way to calculate your share of voice and your conversion value, and know that you have modifiers, how well you improve your conversion and how well you create more voice. So there's a metric there that today can't talk about much. We can talk about a little bit more in future sessions. I'll keep it into the queue of stuff that we have. But these are topics that you, as the user of this, need to be having with your agencies and your service providers that are doing what they tell you is SEO work. It's not where they say, well, we optimize, because a lot of those agencies will upfront do the quick work so you see immediate results, and then they won't look at you or touch your stuff for 6 months. And if they do, they're giving it to a junior grade, low grade, just entry level, square peg, square hole person to say, do these tool usages and do these function things. And you're not getting the value that you've been paying month to month to month for. So that's my soapboxes of agency expose conversations that I think we'll throw in. But
absolutely. And I think one of the huge aspects where there really should be some help and attention, not just because I do this, but just please don't use me, use somebody else, get some assistance in terms of the website architecture, the core structure of it, because the number of these groups, especially in the hospitality area, they can give you a pretty website. And yes, now it's mobile, it's mobile ready, it's responsive, it does that sort of stuff. But it's still, if the underlying structure of the site is trash, that whole multiplier of effort, all of a sudden throw a multiplier on that, because you're going to have to do 3 times the amount of work to get the traction. And it's just it's fundamentally criminal. The number of groups who really don't figure that out. They're getting sold a template. that sort of thing, and everybody gets slapped with the same thing, and you're paying either X bucks a month for the for maintenance and that sort of thing, or you paid one time up front and you got it and now it's your problem, or it's X dollars per room per month, or whatever these models are. The bottom line though is, how is that thing architected? How is it easy as it to update? How does all this information relate to each other so you can start building this expertise? And for these particular keywords or particular areas, how much are you an expert? So I mentioned earlier for the airport hotels, right? For flight delays and things like that, hotels near airport, flight delays, those airport properties should be all over it. How many are? Not so much. Right, it's pretty bad. Certainly local search comes into an aspect, but that structure of that website can be outrageously important. Or for event-related things, right? Yep. Different aspects of the market. It's hugely important. And boy, I've got details on clients who I've worked with and then stopped working with and kept looking at their stats, and just I've got one just nightmare situation where you can just see their stats completely cratering from just a complete lack of effort, and now actually they're redoing their website and the structure is very, very bad, and we'll see what happens.
I guess
it's not going to be good.
To anybody that listens to this later on in the recording, for those who have already stepped in and out of our audiences and so forth, if you can't answer one simple question, because a report from any SEO agency or anybody that says that they're doing SEO will show you a nice report, whether it's a copy of your Google Analytics or it's a hybrid simplification of it or whatever. They'll say, here's your natural search history for this period of time, and here's your direct channel history for a period of time. If you can't answer the following question, then you need someone like Robert or myself that can help you with this, or agencies that are not there to do the services for you, but to guide you through the process of who to do them with. And that is, if your natural search goes up and your direct channel contribution goes down, what's wrong with your website? If you can't answer that question, then you need to make sure you ask it of the agency that's providing you that data, and they should be able to answer that question for you. It's one of the most simplistic questions to have. But if you can't understand the correlation between your natural search traffic, as indicated, and your direct channel contribution conversions, and what the metric is between the two of those to answer that question, then you need to go over and ask your agency that's providing that service, or find somebody that's going to hold them to task to make sure that they fix it, because it is something that's part of the natural reporting process.
And for all the hoteliers who are the OTA haters, right? They're horrible. They're stealing our business. Go back and look at. It's probably look at Dara's. Oh, I don't know. I think it was maybe the second or third quarter of 2011. The earnings report for Expedia, and look at the transcript and see what he's saying, and look at some of the decks that they produced. Expedia got killed by Wall Street because they spent something like, I think it was like $750 million putting all these they had the Hotels.com platform and Hotwire and all these, they put them all together. And it was just kind of like, wait, we aren't going to do anything. We're going to unify this to get all this centralized information, things like that. Well, the project started, I think, in 2009 with Hotels.com did something called H1. And what did H1 do? It wasn't necessarily architecting the back end. It was redoing the front end. Well, they got a 20+% conversion improvement. They went from 6 pages to make a booking to 1. And all of a sudden, it was just hockey stick in terms of this. And we mentioned earlier, Google testing things, seeing how they work. That's what Expedia did. They said, wow, that worked really well. We need to do this across all of our other businesses, get on a similar platform, be able to do all these things. And that was it. They looked at, we've got all this traffic. How do you convert? And yes, they had to make a lot of changes, cost them a lot of money, but at a 20% conversion improvement, that's huge. And for an individual property, that's huge for them too in terms of that direct business. So it's you have to do that. Why are people coming to your site? What are they doing on your site? And then how are they converting? And then are they returning? I mean, just really basic blocking and tackling. But if you don't understand those key issues, Yeah,
You have to know the
it
simple
can get
before you
very
know the
ugly.
complex. I completely agree.
Yeah, you can spend a heck of a lot. If Expedia didn't know those things and spend that 750 million on technology and get that 20%, boost at least, and their earnings were up like 40%. I mean, their revenues went up like 40% from that 20% conversion increase, right? It was just crazy
Yeah.
during that time. But if they didn't, they probably would have been spending a lot more just trying to get traffic, trying to do all this stuff. And, it's how much water has to flow over the dam before you turn the turbine a little bit to get some electricity. This is a lot more efficient.
Yeah. I think we talked too much. My battery in my podcast recorder died. So I don't know whether either I had a old battery in it or we just talked way too damn much.
We're on. Yep, we're over an hour. We've got to cut it off at an hour.
That's bad. All right. As always, I mean, it's a shame. I mean, you and I are going to be on the HSMAI's call this afternoon in about an hour, and we get to go over and hassle everybody as to, they're getting the invitation to be here with us, and so too is the Revenue Board invitation to be with us. Now, I may have sent it a little late today. I only sent it out as a half-hour lead time because I wanted to make sure we had the right topics in. But again, they already had it on their schedule from times past. So I would offer. I've actually asked Julie if we can send out to the Certified Hospitality Digital Marketers list those who have gotten their certification, whether they should have the opportunity to join us as well. Because as much as I love talking with you, I think a lot of what we're talking about is profoundly interesting to people if they were aware of the fact that we're doing this. So we'll have to push the issue with HSMAI since we do this in their behalf to make sure that the information gets out there timely because we do this every week. We are actually coming up on episode number 30 next week. Mr. Cole, we have done this since August of last year, every week, and we have not missed a week. We've had to change which day sometimes, and we changed it a little bit.
I haven't been there all the time, but you have.
You know what? You've been there, I would say 99.999% of the time. I can maybe count on one hand the missed opportunities. So by all means, thank you as always for all this. Now, for those who play back the recording, one thing I noticed with other podcasts that we don't do, because we are both independent business people at this particular point, Mr. Cole, if people want to find you and talk to you directly, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
rockcheetah.com. Very simply, you can go there. You've got my blog, my travel quote of the day, which I've been doing for 3 years. I'm at thousands of them. I'm still wondering how much time I've been spending on that, but very, very interesting SEO perspective on that. We can talk about that. Started out as a test, but no, rockcheetah.com, and that's easy to find me. I'm the only Rock Cheetah around anywhere on the internet globally. And Robert at rockcheetah.com.
All right. And for those who would like to find me, it's and also to play back any of our previous Blabcasts, you can do it at blab.im. Look for Lauren Gray as the Twitter handle that you see up above in the box above us right there. Pink. And you can play back from that, but you can also go to hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com/blabcast, and they are complete from the beginning till now. And we recently, in the past few months, I've been trying to recap the topics as we have them, so you know what the Blabcast is about. The earlier ones, we had more conversations than we had structure. So those ones I have to actually go back to listen to and make bullet points on. But you can also reach me at lauren@hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com. And all the things we discuss about, we're very knowledgeable about both of them, I think. So.
And you're certainly hoping that people click on a link as opposed to typing that into the search bar. Right?
Because from a URL point of view, it has great relevance to what it is and for. But you're right.
Very good relevance. Really bad length. Yeah,
it's the restaurant by the red stump, by the left-hand road, by the state road, county road, by the moon.com.
Exactly. Exactly. But that's okay. That relevance is very interesting. Unless, of course, because it's so long, Google is scoring you down, thinking that you're a spammy site.
That's true. So, you know what it is.
You never know when they change those damn rules.
I could type it now, where it's like because you have to fill it in for everything anyway. So, all right. Again, thank you again. Another week of this. It's going to be up on YouTube. It'll be up on the places that we mentioned to it. We'll have another session next week with the interesting and relevant topics for techniques, news, and tools next week. So, again, thank you, Mr. Robert Cole. And we'll talk to you next week.
Very good. Dr.
Bye now.